Hi, folks, and welcome to the Long Time Thoughts podcast. My name is Sam. Glad to have you here. And I just wanted to kind of change things up a little today. I know usually I'm discussing sports or politics or just some random, stuff that's going on in the world. And this is kind of similar, but this is going to be a little more controversial, I feel like. This isn't a subject that I feel gets covered. And, again, I want to start off by saying I am not going to be excusing anything that these people are doing. Um, this is going to be kind of a sensitive subject for some people. I could understand that. But I do want to discuss child abuse and child abuse by teachers and how the the dynamic has changed in recent years and just over the decades. I feel like, and again, like I said, this might be a little controversial, but I do feel like a lot of the teachers, and again, these are the teachers abusing boys, are getting hotter. And, again, this is, of course, also. Uh, Unfortunately, maybe not something that females want to hear, but I kind of discussed this with my wife a little before actually taping this, and she seemed mostly on board with it. I don't know how cool she is with it once it's over, but here we are. And again, I have two kids, a boy and a girl, and somebody actually asked me this. One of my friends asked me this a month or two ago. You know. How would I feel, who would I feel worse about getting sexually abused in school, my daughter or my son? Now, to me, it's a no-brainer. First of all, of course, I don't think any child should go through that. Um, I know that kids develop at different ages, but, I think, first of all, the most important thing is, when a child is at school, their teacher is supposed to be kind of a safety net, not somebody who's gonna be trying to lure them sexually. The teacher should be concentrating on one thing and one thing only, and that's teaching that child, making sure that child is ready for life once they leave that class. But that unfortunately is not always the case, as we know. I mean, this has been something that's been happening probably forever. And it doesn't only happen in schools. We know it also happens in places of worship. Worship? Yes, places of worship. Um, and just even in our own homes, people we trust with our kids kind of do things they're not supposed to. And it could ruin a child's life. And sometimes it won't. Listen, I don't know if a 15-year-old me, if I had a sexual relation with my teacher, if that would have ruined my life. Maybe made my life different, maybe for the worse, maybe for the better, but I don't know if it would have ruined my life. But again, that's speaking as a male, and I know, once you start saying it's different for a male than a female, people start getting up in arms, oh, you're being sexist, blah, blah. But I think we can all agree that losing a man's virginity is completely different than losing a woman or girl, boy, girl, man, woman. Hopefully you understand what I'm trying to say. But I think there's a huge difference. And for those of you that disagree with me, just, comment, let me know, and I'll be happy to make a video about the birds and the bees and, how it works and why it's different. But that's not what we're here for. And, again, I think for a boy who's a teenager who might be having sexual relationships with his teacher, not only will that make him cooler in school, cooler amongst his friends, of course, but that just may be kind of something they could be prideful of. For a girl, again, I'm not a female. I can't speak on the emotional impact that would have. Obviously, the physical impact it would have is completely different than that of a man or a boy. So I think two completely different things. Again, I would not want it to happen to either one of my kids, but if I had a choice, obviously I prefer it happens to my son, and hopefully my daughter stays a virgin for a long time, or long enough to figure out what she wants in life. But again, that's just dad talk. Don't worry about that part. But the point of the video, and we're gonna look at this, and I'm gonna show you that the teachers that are assaulting boys are getting hotter and hotter. Now, the reason I'm doing female teachers, it's because I'm not really comfortable, discussing men and how they look. Um, be, Not because I'm in any way, um, you know, in any way worried about coming off gay or anything of that sort. It's just it's very hard for me to judge men. I could look at of course, a guy and say, hey, yeah, that's a handsome dude, that's a good-looking guy, but it's just not something I do with my free time or look forward to doing. It's just if it comes up, heat of the moment, or just win conversation, I have no problems doing it. But I'm not going to sit here and judge a man's looks, but I will judge a woman's looks. I know, again, that may not be the right thing to do, may not be cool with everybody, but this is what we're doing. I think, it's just something that does not get covered, and I'd love some feedback on this. And, well, let me show you what I'm talking about here. See how you guys feel. Let me just share my screen here. Just share my screen here. See, I always try to be ready for you guys, and always something pops up when I'm not ready. So I'm going to make myself much smaller here, just so you guys can see what I'm talking about. So I got a few things ready here for you. I want to first go through and show you, I guess what my taste is and what I think is pretty good looking, pretty not. Here's one in Cyprus. I'm not even sure where this is, but location doesn't matter because this happens all over the country. It actually happens all over the world, as you'll see in a second. But here we go. Two young ladies. To me, these are women, at least, especially the one on the left over here. But again, both are solid. You can't say they're, dimes, at least not to my taste, but solid looking ladies. Should probably have no trouble getting laid or whatever it is they're looking for in these relationships with kids out in the open. They should be able to, pick up guys very easily, whether dating apps, bars, work environment. And a lot of these ladies are already married. A lot of them have kids. Again, 16-year-old threesome. I don't want to sound like an asshole here, but pretty solid work for the young man. I'm sure he is not upset by that. Now again, reverse roles. I can understand. I would be horrified if this was two males and a 16-year-old girl. Not saying this is something that's appropriate. Again, I think this should be kept out of schools, but it's happening, so we might as well talk about it. We also have this lady right here. Pretty good picture over here. Looks like again, I don't know if they're talking about her, excuse me, but somebody got a 13-year-old student pregnant. Got pregnant via 13-year-old student. And again, to me, this young lady should have no problem hooking up with dudes. Now, this lady, again, not here to make fun of anybody, not here to kind of shit on anybody, but hey, I understand her. She's 49 years old. Who knows what her probably hasn't had a great relationship at home. Probably not a lot of sex. Ju- I know I'm being judgmental, and you guys can judge me in the comments, but this is what we're doing today. Yeah, for her, I get it. I get it. Here we have a man, Oscar Perez, former teacher of the year. Also abusing kids. Another two people. This looks like Houston, Texas. So this is Texas. Lots of sexual deviance in the schools there. We have a date on this. Doesn't look like there's a date. I don't think we can go by that. And again, maybe I'm just blind, but I'm not seeing the date. But look at the list here. I mean, this is first of all sickening. Just the fact that this is happening in just one state, possibly one city. Um, you know, and you could just see how like the amount of abuse is just crazy. So there's a few examples. Hot, not hot, in my opinion. My judgments, yes, but those are some of the things going on now. The reason I actually got on to the subject and decided to talk about it is because this has happened. I'm New York. The Post is one of my first sources for news that I just start with, and then go from there, just because they kind of cover enough for me to at least get into the day's news and see what's going on. So the Post, the last few days, and I know you see a lot of tabs or posts here, just because I was looking for these articles that I had found, but they've had these girls the last 2 weeks, something like that. Starting with, I mean, this one's like again pretty solid. Nothing again. I love my wife. My wife is beautiful. None of these ladies compared to her, but pretty solid, pretty solid. And again, 16-year-old. Can you? Oh, this is actually Michigan charter school. She's just on in the Daily News, but either way, pretty solid. 26. I can't imagine she has trouble getting laid outside of school. Um, and just again unacceptable. But it does seem like it's happening often. Now again, I apologize for stating my honest opinions here, but Bonnie here, I get it. Sherry, 60. I mean, both of them were abusing the same boy, same student. I'm just gonna assume it's a boy, but these two make sense to me. This makes more sense to me, right? It's like it's just harder, and that's another thing about being a woman that it's just so much harder because looks are so much more important for women, even though they shouldn't be. I know we live in 2025 now. We're progressive. Women have rights. Women, come a long way. But at the end of the day, looks still matter for females. Unfortunately, way more than they do for males. It's a sad truth. Again, I'm not a looker. I get it. I was very lucky to hook my wife, who to me is of course a dime. I would never say any different. I mean, yeah, maybe to her face, but that's a little joke. But out in the open, I can tell you what my tastes are, and what my thoughts are, and I get it. I just get it. Like for women, sometimes it's just harder. You got to go deeper sometimes. Let's see what we have here. Here's another one. New Jersey, not too far from me. Well, possibly far. I don't know which part of Jersey, but not the greatest mugshot. But here, not terrible. I gotta say, not terrible. And again, she had a child, a kid with the victim, and it's just that's the worst part. And I was talking to my son about this because I also told him I was thinking of doing this, and he was he started saying, "Oh, I hope one of these hot teachers hit on me." And I get it. Listen, I remember being a teenager. Yeah, these are the thoughts. I had some pretty sexy teachers back in the day. But I don't remember what the thoughts were. Probably the same, but uh, you know, I can't blame him. But to me, my explanation to him was, hey, you know, usually these teachers want the whole again, and this is from what I've learned. I'm not saying this is 100% accurate or even 100% true for every teacher. That I'm sure it's not, but a lot of these women just want to have somebody to take care of. That's why they love teaching. And a lot of them get into these relationships to get pregnant, to lock you in, basically, to try to keep you from telling, and that can ruin a boy's life. We've talked about what a girl's life gets ruined, completely different. But a boy's life can get ruined if you impregnate somebody, um, or you're just being taken advantage of. Who knows how they're manipulating the kid's head. Still a teenager, still getting some booty, and again, fine booty in some cases, more cases than I've seen, and never. Um, so again, not bad. Not, can't say she's a dime, but solid worker. Um, so that was another one. Let's see what we have here. And again, like young, right? Like young lady. Again, not my type really here, but I can understand how people find her attractive here. Um, 55 crimes. She's 30 years old. I mean, what are we doing, guys? And here she's with, I'm guessing, the soccer team. Yeah, soccer team. Um, yeah, and I get it. Hey, some of these kids, when they're teenagers, they play sports. Yeah, I could get the appeal. I don't want to say I understand the appeal. On the other, if roles were reversed, guy teacher with females athletes or just students that are coming to their own. I get it, but again, that's not your job, but not not bad. Um, just shouldn't be doing it, but definitely good work for the kid. Should be proud of himself. Hopefully, he didn't impregnate her. But what I don't get about this, the weird stuff is you see a lot of the time the husband here. The husband is. I hope you guys can see these pictures. I'm looking now and I see the screen's a little small. Let's see if I can make it bigger, just in general. Hopefully you guys are able to get good pictures here. But she's 30, good shape, but her husband's standing by her. Like what? That's the part I don't get. I'm sorry. Um, you're you're raping the boy. Well, they call it rape, I guess, so that makes sense. But you're having sex with a child. You're doing it a lot, especially it looks like. Claims she was blackmailed, um, targeted because she's good looking, but I'm not even sure. We can follow up again. If I'm not even sure all these ladies are guilty or all these people are guilty, innocent until proven guilty, but they're in the news, faces being shown, names being given, so I feel like I'm okay. Um, but yeah, the cuck husband, man, I don't get that. You gotta drop him. Gotta drop the hose. Obviously, if she goes to jail, if she's saying she's innocent, she's been blackmailed, you gotta stand by her side until she's proven guilty. But if she's guilty and you're standing by her side still, you're a cuck, bro. Anyway, moving on. Um, and this one was also here in upstate New York. This was one of the two. I think I showed you the first one, and now this one. 22. I mean, she's a baddie, bro. Like, you know what I mean? 14-year-old. I mean, this dude, in a sense, is kind of like a hero. But at the same time, hopefully, again, his mental's not messed up. But she shouldn't be doing this. 22-year-old. Just crazy what's going on. Like why are you doing this inside your school? You're risking so much, and you're definitely able to go out and get a solid population of men. You know, maybe upstate just doesn't have that many options. Maybe she's looking for something particular, but I mean, and I think this is special ed that she's teaching, which, if she's taking advantage of special ed students, even worse. Um, I don't know if that affects them any differently, but just strange times we're living in. I just want to go through a few more, just, um, and you can see, I mean, I'm going to point the ones that I think are pretty decent here. The majority are what you expect, or I would expect them to look like. Not, not great lookers, maybe not great shape, maybe not young. Again, I know I'm being a piece of shit here, but it is what it is. Uh, Time to change the topics a little. Maybe get you guys going a little here. Cutie, not great, honestly. It's not one of my favorites. Arkansas, not great. But again, majority of these, I get it. This one should be able to stay away. Should be able to get laid outside of work. Unless she's fat. Again, we talked about how unfair that is to women, the way we judge them. But face-wise, solid. I don't think she needs to be going after kids. I saw a few others. Molly, she's not bad with the glasses. I'm not a fan of her without the glasses here. With the glasses, not terrible. And then, look at this one. Oh my goodness, bro. Seriously? She looks like she's still in college. She's a teacher? I mean, I'm just going to click on this just because, I don't know if it'll load. Yeah, definitely. Oh, man. Not bad, bro. Not bad. I mean, this is just crazy. This shouldn't be happening. She shouldn't be doing this. She can do better. Do better. You're hot. Do better. I understand the uglies, the ones that have less opportunity. Not her. This one's not bad. Also very solid here. Very solid work. I think I saw a few more here. Did I click on this one? Yeah, this one. Cute. Got a little nose ring. Cutie. Maybe not my style necessarily, but I got a cutie. Even her, she's not, not for me, but I can't even say she's terrible. So I don't get it, guys. If comment, let me know what you think, why this is happening, why so many hotter and teachers are now putting out, and just something I didn't see back in my day. Back in my day, whenever they reported on this, it was who you'd expect. It was the teachers you'd expect to be doing stuff like that. There's some solid ladies up in here who are doing dirty things they shouldn't be doing. Yeah, I don't get it. Maybe you guys get it. Maybe you guys know why this is happening more and more with, again, females of a certain type. Let's see, 6 and better, 7 and better, maybe even. Yeah, well, hope you enjoy that. Now we'll move on. My video of the day, or whatever, link of the day. I found this hilarious. Somebody wrote, "We got super disabled Mario before GTA 6. Me and my son are looking forward to GTA 6. Got delayed now, but this came out, and I don't know why. This was just hilarious to me. It's just Mario in a wheelchair. I mean, whoever came up with this is pretty creative. And then I'm not gonna, you guys can click on the video yourselves, but then he gets the crutches with the flower. You guys enjoyed that video. I'll link it as always. Song of the day, 2 Chainz, Little Yachty, Sister Wives. Not a bad song. 2 Chainz was actually one of the first artists that my son got into when he was little. We used to play I'm Different for him. We used to play some Khaled. all we do is win, win, win. He used to go crazy for that song. And as he got older, that this is when he was like a baby, like maybe a year and a half, 2 years old, maybe a little older. We used to blast this in the car. Um, Once he started understanding a little more, we kind of played more censored music. And then once he got to a point where he could understand the difference between being at home and being outside, and what's allowed at home and what's allowed outside. Then we went back to hip hop. So 2 Chainz's been a fan for a long time. He hasn't really been dropping as much heat over the last few years, but it happens to all of us with age. Yachty, I'm always kind of in the middle with. He's hit or miss for me. I always check on him when he releases just to hear what he's putting out. But yeah, hit or miss. Anyway, I'll link this as the Wives song of the day. I really appreciate you guys. Have a great day. Look forward to speaking to you again soon.